everyone, and welcome to the Pathfinder Lair. My name is Drew, and I've been a game master for over 10 years. On this channel, I help new players understand the rules of the Pathfinder 2nd Edition system. Today in the Lair, I will be covering the Orc once again. This time I will be covering the feats from the Advanced Player's Guide. Remember, these feats can be taken if you are a half-orc as well. Let's get started with first level feats. Beast Trainer gives you train proficiency in nature and the train animal skill feat. Extra skill and extra skill feat to go with it. Pretty good. The Iron Fists feat makes your fists unarmed attack deal lethal damage and gain the shove trait. If you want to be able to hurt people with your fists and you aren't playing a monk, this is the feat for you. Next is Orc Lore. Just gives you athletics, survival, and orc lore as trained skills. Pretty standard feat. Athletics and survival are skills that are used a lot, so this is a good feat to have. Lastly, for first level feats in this video, is the Tusks feat. You gain a Tusks unarmed attack that deals 1d6 piercing damage. They are in the Brawling Weapon group and have the Finesse and Unarmed traits. Note that you must take this feat at first level and you cannot retrain into this feat. You can only retrain out of this feat through drastic measures such as breaking your tusks. But hey, unarmed attacks will always be good. This feat would be good if you are a spellcaster that doesn't want to take melee spells. Now let's talk about 5th level feats in this book. Athletic Might allows you to auto-crit succeed if you roll a success on athletics to climb or swim. That's it. Pretty standard 5th level feat. Although this feat could be good if you combine it with the Rainfall Orc Heritage, which I covered in my Orc Basics and Heritages video up in the card. Bloody Blows allows you to deal 1d4 persistent bleed damage on a critical hit with any unarmed attack that isn't non-lethal. You could get this through the Tusks or Iron Fists feat, which I covered earlier in this video, or a similar ability. You could also gain this by taking a penalty to your attack roll for trying to do lethal damage with a non-lethal unarmed strike. This just makes your unarmed strikes better. If that is your type of thing, then here you go. Lastly, for 5th level Ancestry feats, we have the Cold Mark feat. This feat just gives you the crit specialization effects for specific weapons based on your large brand or tattoo that your orc has. For example, if you have an axe or a similar symbol of strength as your brand or tattoo, you gain the crit specialization effect of axes and picks. Other examples are on screen as well. This is just like Orc Weapon Carnage, except it applies to specific weapons instead of just all Orc weapons. Honestly, I'd rather just take Orc Weapon Carnage. Yeah. Death's Drums is a 9th level Ancestry feat. If you take persistent damage of any kind, or have a wounded value, you gain a +2 bonus on saving throws. This feat is pretty nice. When you're taking persistent damage or wounded, that's when you really need it. But at the same time, it's not really something I would take as an orc. Not really. I'd much rather take the next feats. Lastly, for 9th level Ancestry feats is the Undying Ferocity feat. This feat requires Orc Ferocity to take. When you use Orc Ferocity, you gain temporary hit points equal to your level. So if you're level 10, you get 10 hit points. On top of the one that you go to for using Orc Ferocity. This feat is really good, actually. It just gives you more hit points after you use Orc Ferocity. Much rather take this feat than Death's Drums. Next is the 13th level feat, Ferocious Beasts. This feat essentially just gives your animal companions or bonded animals the Orc Ferocity reaction, which I covered in my core rulebook Orc Feats video in the card. Also, if you have Undying Ferocity, which I just covered, then those animals gain that feat as well. Spell Devourer is another 13th level feat. Whenever you succeed on a saving throw against a spell or magical effect, you gain temporary hit points equal to double the spell's level, or if it was not a spell, then equal to the effect's level. These hit points last until the end of your next turn. So essentially, you get hit by a 5th level spell, you get 10 temporary hit points. Pretty good. Last feat for orcs is the 17th level feat, Rampaging Ferocity. When you use Orc Ferocity, you can attempt one attack as a free action. If this strike knocks a foe to 0 hit points, then this activation of Orc Ferocity doesn't count toward the number of times you can use it that day or that hour if you have Incredible Ferocity. So essentially, you get one last attack before Orc Ferocity brings you down to 1 hit point. And if you knock something out with it, then it doesn't count against the number of times you can use it. Orcs can be a very good ancestry to take if you're building a martial class. In particular, if you're going to be fighting in melee a lot. But there is literally nothing stopping you from playing a spellcaster with this ancestry. In fact, the defense that this ancestry gives you can actually help you be less frail than you normally would be. Because more survivability is always good, especially if you don't have much of it. And that's going to wrap up this video. If this video helped you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pathfinder 2nd Edition tutorial videos. Don't forget to check out my other orc videos as well as my GM tips video that all came out this week. Next week I will be continuing this series with the Ratfolk and the Tengu ancestries. So until next time, let's play some Pathfinder.
1, 2, 3, 4.